The line between kitchen and the bar is completely dissolving. We aren't just making drinks anymore. We're building culinary experiences in a glass. I've been cooking professionally since 2001. I know, it's been a while. Welcome back to Shut Up and Drink. Today we're leaning heavy into the savory cocktail world. It's an original cocktail that I call the Kitchen Hearth. The Kitchen Hearth has to feel homey. It has to feel warm, inviting, sweet, savory. So I'm gonna be taking some white miso, some brown butter, and fat washing our bourbon before we make our cocktail. And one thing that translates from Michelin kitchens to mixing in a glass is the understanding of fat, salt, and umami. We are going to need to prep a few things before we can make our cocktail. The first thing we're prepping is a sweet potato simple syrup. Right here we have a red Diane sweet potato and some foil. We are just going to wrap this up nice and tight. Now sweet potato is going in the oven at 350 degrees until it is fork tender, nice and soft. This is what you want your sweet potato to look like. Smash, smash, smash. This is the most important step of making the syrup. You want to weigh out your sweet potato after it's been baked. Then place it into a pot and cover it with an equal amount of sugar. Now take that combined weight and add half as much water to it. Bring it up to a boil and turn it off. Now let your syrup cool to room temperature before straining. And this is what we're left with. This beautiful golden syrup. Now if you want to make sure it's extra clear, you can pour it through a coffee filter. Now we prep our bourbon. The bourbon I'm going with is a local company, Home-Based Spirits, made right here in the Bay Area by two incredible women. I'm using an induction top for this because we need an exact temperature. I'm going for 245 degrees Fahrenheit or about 118 degrees Celsius. Drop your butter in. 4 ounces of butter or 1 stick. In order for the butter to start browning, we need all of the water to be cooked out of the butter, and you're left with the milk solids that are gonna start to brown and toast and give this beautiful nutty flavor. The reason I'm doing this on a low temperature is because I want to take it nice and slow and get super toasty. Once your butter is nice and brown, we're gonna add in 1 tablespoon of our white miso. Whisk that in. You really want this to be emulsified into your butter. Another reason I'm doing this on an induction burner is because we're adding alcohol. Add just enough to mix it in, make sure it stays nice and liquidy. Now while the liquid is still warm, we're gonna pour it directly into our ball mason jar here. And cover with the rest of our bourbon. I'm using 750 milliliters for this. I'm gonna wash the whole bottle. Don't throw away your bottle, it's going right back in here once this is done. We're gonna let this sit at room temperature for about 6 hours. With me zooming in here, you can see it starting to break up and separate. You can see all the butter up here starting to float to the top. And what we're gonna do next is actually throw this in the freezer. So, I like to set it upside down. Let it sit like this until you can see a full separation. Once the bourbon starts looking clear, throw it in the freezer for 2 to 3 hours. The reason I like turning the jar upside down is because it makes it a lot easier to filter. That fat miso mixture is gonna float to the top. Once it floats up to the top and we freeze it, all of the solids are gonna freeze at the top of the jar, technically the bottom. Then once it's ready, we flip it back over, crack off the top, and there's less particulates at the top to filter through. And fresh out of the freezer, look at that. You can see all the miso fell to the bottom. Now we're gonna crack this open and strain it through a coffee filter. These right here are my favorite coffee filters. They are lightweight, but incredibly strong. Link in the description below if you want to pick some for yourself. Now before you start straining, we're gonna pour about a cup of water through this to help kind of prime the filter and to get rid of some of that paper taste. As you can see, this is gonna be quite a process. It's gonna take at least an hour to 2 hours to fully strain. Don't worry, the cocktail is well worth the wait and the work. That's what we have after it's done filtering. A little cloudy, but that's to be expected. Now we're gonna pour back into our home-based bottle. Not too bad, we lost about 10%, but that is a beautiful color, look at that. Before we make our cocktail, we need a taste. Oh yeah. You really smell that brown butter. And there is definitely an umami scent on the back. Oh yeah, you get this salinity in there from the miso, a lot of umami. This is gonna make an incredible old fashioned. Now this is a direct riff on an old fashioned. So we're gonna build directly into our double rocks glass here. The build is incredibly simple. That's why we made our liquor so complex. We're gonna start with a nice big ice sphere. Drop that right in. So we're starting with 2 ounces or 60 mils of our fat wash bourbon. Ran out of syrup dispenser, so got a nice glass bottle here. A 1/4 ounce up to a 1/2 ounce, depending on how sweet you want it. 15 mils. And finally, to tie the roasted, nutty, and savory flavors together, we're gonna add 4 dashes of black walnut bitters. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we stir. And for our garnish, we've got a roasted sweet potato coin here. Gonna put a little white sugar right on top. Light sweet potato. Our kitchen hearth. Savory, rich, and built like a dish. Let's drink. Ooh, oh yeah. The sweet potato syrup mixed with the butter washed whiskey has this amazing, almost salted caramel butterscotch flavor to it. A little bit of that salinity. Love the sound of that. A perfect bridge between the kitchen and the bar. That's delicious. I could go for 4 or 5 more of those. These kinds of umami-driven flavors belong in your glass during winter. If you like this video, hit that subscribe button and drop a like. And comment what your favorite whiskey cocktail is. If you want to check out the rest of my winter cocktails, click right there. Until next time, shut up and drink.